Hello, I'm Joe White. Welcome to National Community Theater's Behind the Curtain, episode number 66, our first episode for the fall. So hopefully you had a really good, fun summer. We did. We were able to actually do a little film called ER Visit, which you'll get to see tonight. And not only that, you'll get to hear from the actors Chris Erath and Diana Doyle, who were in it. So tonight, we're going to watch ER Visit. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. And when it's over, come back and listen to Chris and Diana and I talk about the episode.
Excuse me, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is going to sound ridiculous. You're going to think I'm crazy.
Believe me, I am in no position to judge anyone on that score.
Why do you say that?
Oh, you're probably here to visit a friend or family member, and
What?
I didn't mean to pry. Oh my gosh, I hope you haven't had a tragedy. I mean, this is a hospital.
No tragedy.
Whew.
No worries.
Can we start over? I'm Steve.
Alexa.
That was better.
Yeah.
So,
you're not here to see a friend or family member?
not in the conventional sense.
What's the unconventional sense?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Try me.
Okay. I'm here because I got a strange message telling me to come here.
You're kidding.
That sounded even weirder than it is. I didn't mean I saw it in my mashed potatoes or got it straight from the lizard people.
No, let me guess. You got an email saying that there was a family member you didn't even know about in this hospital, and you were asked to come to the ER and sit on this Cheever bench.
You sent it?
No, I got one just like it.
How?
I got an email. You?
Me too. And you never heard of this person that's in the hospital?
No, never.
Who sent the email?
Some lawyer or someone pretending to be a lawyer?
Named Theodosius Wilder?
Same here.
And you never heard of this person in the hospital, and there's some vague implication of a will, and you might be in it?
Exactly.
You think it's legit?
Well, I guess I must at least think it's possible. I'm here, aren't I?
So you are.
Wait, so if we both got the same email and we both have a relative here, that would mean...
Either he's got the market cornered on dying guys with long-lost relatives, it's a total scam, or you are my long-lost sister.
That's something I didn't expect to hear when I got up this morning.
I mean, you wouldn't have to be my sister, but we'd have to be related somehow, wouldn't we?
If it's on the level, I guess so. But it should be pretty easy to figure out, right?
Maybe. And if there's no connection...
Then we'll know it's a scam.
So we just tell each other everything we know about our families and look for a connection?
Well, there is a problem.
What?
I mean, how do I know, no offense, how do I know that you're not in on the scam?
Me?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of hard to believe. I'm asked to come here, and here you are.
I could say the same thing about you.
I suppose you could.
How do we figure this family thing out anyway? I mean, if I'm scamming you, as soon as you tell me about your Uncle Louie from Topeka, I say, "Whoa, there's the link," and claim he's my first cousin twice removed.
I have an Uncle Louie in Topeka.
What?
I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I'm just trying to break the tension.
I never understood those cousin removed things anyway.
That's simple. Removed means there's a difference of a generation. So, for example, your mother's first cousin is your first cousin once removed. That's because your mother's first cousin is 1 generation younger than your grandparents, and you're 2 generations younger than your grandparents. So twice removed would be 2 generations. So you're 2 generations younger than your grandmother's first cousin. So you and your grandmother's first cousin are first cousins twice removed.
Simple.
Yeah, well, it's not really important right now.
So, either it's legit and we're related, or it's a scam. And if it's a scam, I could be scamming you, you could be scamming me, or the illustrious Mr. Wilder could be scamming both of us.
Or someone else could be scamming and they just hired him.
Or that.
Well, I still say it should be simple to figure out if we're related. If you say that you're related to my cousin in Pittsburgh, then you should be providing some details that I could check online or something.
There's a problem with that solution.
What now?
Well, I'm adopted.
Oh.
And I don't really know anything about my birth family, so even if we went back 3 generations, it still wouldn't tell us anything.
Well, so much for that plan.
So, is it door number 1, scam on both of us, door number 2, scam by one of us, or door number 3, completely legit?
You know, this sounds a little bit like that Nigerian prince scam.
Oh, right. That's the one where you get an email from His Highness saying that he's got this stack of gold bars, but if you just send him some money, he can get the gold out of the country and then he'll split it with you.
Right, that's the one. I mean, well, who would fall for that? Just send the money. Even if I'm getting scammed, well, at least it's not costing me anything.
You know, I hear they make that scam purposely stupid.
Why? Why would you want your scam to be stupid?
Well, think about it. If you rate all of humanity from 1 to 10 on the gullibility scale, 10s are people you couldn't possibly scam. 1s are people that you can convince that Hillary Clinton kidnapped Elvis on a grassy knoll outside of the Bermuda Triangle.
Okay.
If you're a scammer, you only want those 1s to answer, right? People who will believe that gullible isn't in the dictionary until they look it up. I mean, think about it. Why would you want the other people to reply? You're just going to waste time trying to get their money, and at the end they'll back out and maybe sick the police on you.
So if your scam is transparently stupid, only the stupid will even respond.
It's brilliant. The victims sort themselves out, and only the easy marks apply. You don't have to do anything.
Wait, so are we easy marks?
Well, like you said, we haven't paid any money yet. At least maybe we're not viewed as 1s on the gullibility scale.
Yet.
I don't know. I'm getting a bad feeling about all of this. Maybe we should just get out of here. Can I buy you some hospital coffee? I hear it's fresh, or at least it was when it was made.
So you think we should just give up?
I mean, don't you? I mean, saying all this out loud makes it sound so ridiculous. I mean, what did I do today? I came to the hospital because I got a message from somebody I didn't know about a relative I've never heard of, all in pursuit of a pot of gold at the end of the intensive care unit. Oh, and some random person got exactly the same email.
I'm guessing it wasn't exactly the same email.
Why?
Well, mine had some personal details.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't a mass email designed to entice the gullible ones. Did yours?
Oh, well, now that you mention it.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not exactly that low on the gullible scale. If I got some email addressed to dear valued relative, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I mean, give me some credit.
I didn't mean to offend. Wilder guy certainly had a lot of details about me, even that I was adopted.
So does that mean that it's real? It doesn't seem like it fits in with your theory that scammers' first step is to do something quick and stupid so that only the stupid respond.
No, it doesn't.
Do many people know that you're adopted? Is it something, if someone were going to scam you, that they could easily find out?
Very few people, almost no one.
So, can you think of a way, if someone you didn't know wanted to scam you, he could find out?
There's always a way. I'm not the only one who knows I'm adopted. This Wilder guy could have gotten it from someone else. It's not impossible, but it does seem like an awful lot of effort for a scam, and he did the same for you.
Sort of. I mean, there was some stuff in there about when I was married. It's a long time ago. It was very brief. It's not something that I like to talk about now, so it's not something that more than a handful of people who even know me now would know about.
So we just sit here and wait?
At this point, I will.
This is going to sound a little weird, but has anything else strange happened to you recently?
What do you mean by strange?
I don't even know what I'm talking. Yeah, I do. You hear about identity theft? If somebody stole your identity or mine, would they have access to these sorts of details about us?
Isn't that usually more social security numbers and passwords? If someone stole my identity, I'd expect them to do something more than entice me to come to a hospital and laugh while I was wasting my time.
Are you sure they haven't?
I don't know. There haven't been any suspicious activities and my passwords haven't been changed. I mean, if someone had stolen my identity successfully, why would they then alert me to it by, of all things, making me sit outside waiting of ER?
Sherlock Holmes had a case just like this. His client got hired to copy the phone book or something like that, but he had to do it in an empty office and from 9 to 5 every day. But it turns out the scammers, they knew he lived next to a bank, and they were tunneling from his basement into the bank, and they needed him out of the way all day, every day.
Well, I live next to a retired guy who spends 6 hours a day tinkering around his lawn, so it's not exactly Fort Knox. Although, you know, he'd be really upset if someone were tunneling and ruined his lawn.
I didn't think you lived next to a bank, but can you think of any reason that why someone would want to get you out of the way for a couple of hours?
No. Can you?
No, and it does seem like a pretty stupid method of getting us out of the way. We can leave any time.
Maybe they're watching.
I don't see anybody, but then again, I don't know what I'm looking for. A guy in a trench coat, all in black. Black helicopters.
You might be overthinking this. So what if it's a scam? So we sit here, chat for a bit, and either Wilder contacts us or he doesn't. The most we have to lose is an hour.
Maybe that's what they want you to think.
So what do you think?
I don't know. But, you know, I had a virus on my computer recently.
Do you know how you got it?
No, Microsoft just called and told me about it and took care of it. I didn't think anything of it at the time, but...
Has it been normal since?
Completely. In fact, I never noticed anything. Whenever they did, it worked.
Well, how could that be related to this?
Well, maybe they got into my email or Facebook or hacked my passwords and...
And what?
That sentence really doesn't sound like it would end with and made me come sit outside of a hospital.
No, it doesn't.
Look, the more I think about this, the dumber it sounds. Do they still have candid camera?
You're dating yourself.
Look, I've enjoyed meeting you, and this was a slow day anyway, but But this is a prank or a scam, and we should both get out of here before we do something stupid.
No, I don't disagree with you, but the fact remains, this Wilder guy, he knows about us. Nobody's put a virus on my computer, so the info is legit. I'm willing to invest a little bit more time.
I wish you the best of luck.
I mean, if it's a scam, what is the point? Someone put all this effort into getting us here. Why?
This sort of thing doesn't happen outside of Hollywood. Long lost relative and money, a total cliche.
Well, okay, I said my piece.
Fine.
Wait, here, I'll do you a favor. Go ahead, leave, and I'm gonna stay. So if it turns out to be the real thing, I'll tell Wilder that you were here and you got called away on an emergency or something.
I can't let you do that.
Why not?
You're taking all the risk. You have to sit here and put up with Wilder and his scam and breathe in all the foul air from people smoking outside the hospital, or go inside and run the risk of catching some nasty bug. I get to go home.
Hey, what's family for, right?
It's just not fair.
Okay, well, make it up to me. Why don't you buy me dinner? Either way. So then, if it is a scam and I've wasted my time and Wilder is a Nigerian prince, then at least I get dinner either way.
How can I say no to that?
Oh, well, there is one problem.
What?
Well, you already said that you don't trust me. And if you don't, then I could just say that you weren't here and then I still get dinner. Oh, and I get all the gold.
It's all right. I trust you.
Well, you shouldn't. Maybe I'm the evil twin in the family.
Really?
So, here, you take my phone. He said he was going to email us with the room number. So, here. I've logged you into my email. Now, I'm emailing the password to myself, so you've got it. Here.
But he could still come down here. After all, he told us where to meet.
Right. Well, but I still have to get my phone back from you. And, I don't know, I'm a terrible liar.
Well, all right. Well then here, you take my phone. It's only fair.
Me tonight?
You're being too nice to me. Maybe I should just stay.
No, it's fine. I said I would do it. Go ahead.
Well, where tonight?
Well, I'd say that I'd give you my phone number, but under the circumstances.
Well, I'll give me a call at 6 tonight, fully expecting to buy you dinner to console you for your wasted day.
Well, maybe we'll find out that things like this do happen. I don't know. It'd be nice to think that way.
Nice to believe in miracles. Are you sure?
Go.
Well, until tonight then. You know, this is going to sound corny, but I didn't even come here to get the money. I came here kind of hoping I could find out something about my family, and so in a way, I hope we are related, but that would take a miracle. In any event, I've already gotten a great reward for coming here today, so I will see you for dinner.
Hey, yeah, I got it. It worked just like you said. No, once I offered to give him my phone. What? No, I gave him the burner phone. Yep. With the passwords that you got off his computer. He's an open book. Bank account, yeah. No, I'll drop it off. No, we have plenty of. We have until 6. Oh, the next one, right? No. I'll drop it off. All right. Bye. Hey, Steve. It's Alexa. Have you left yet? Oh, can you come back? No, I just, you're right. I don't know. This is some kind of scam. And I was just wondering, you want to do lunch instead of dinner? Because I have the whole day free.
Well, welcome back. Just got to watch that wonderful scene, ER Visit. And I am very fortunate enough to have the actor-writer, Chris Erath, with us, and also Diana Doyle. Welcome.
Thanks, Joe.
Good to be here.
Let's try this again. Last time we tried this, in the middle of it, I just froze up on me. My Wi-Fi went down. Everything was crazy. So I'm not a huge fan of Zoom interviews. I would just love to have you guys in the studio and interviewing, but until we get to that space, I'm very happy that you both were able to accommodate it for the second time trying to get this thing, the interview down. So thank you so much. So Chris, I got a question for you. What was the origin or the inspiration of the idea of ER Visit, or as we would call it, ALF Part 2?
I'm not sure if I had anything that qualifies as inspiration, but I've always been interested in scams and the breadth of them and the reasons that people fall for them, which sort of led to an idea that started to germinate. And I decided that it's more interesting if the by far relatively more nice person between Diana and myself is the actual perpetrator, to give it a little twist at the end. So that by and large was the process.
Nice. And Diana, how'd you get hooked in or roped into this project?
Let's see. Well, I've known Chris for a few years now. We've done maybe 3 or 4 shows together. And so he asked me if I wanted to do a scene with him, and I was so happy to do it. And I did do a show with you guys out in Ashland, so it was kind of a nice reunion to get back to Ashland and to work with Chris again. So yeah, it's just having something to do was great.
Nice. Now, I know that we've talked about this in the earlier first part of the interview, so I won't make the same mistake again. I'll ask Chris the question is, I know you've done the monologue with us, which was over an iPhone, which I don't consider film. So what we did in the film ER Visit, how do you like that compared to doing a live play? What do you think the main differences are, and what do you prefer or not prefer for film?
Well, the live play, which is where, as you correctly point out, the vast majority of my experience falls. I personally really get a charge out of the energy you can pick up off of the live audience. So, whether it's a comedy and you get the obvious response of laughter, or at least hopefully so, or a drama where you can just feel whether the audience is invested in what's going on stage or not. That's been something I've always been used to, and that is perhaps the best part of being on stage. So obviously you don't get that sort of thing on film, but film has the great advantage of, if you don't get it right the first time, you get another shot at it, which the two of you could attest I availed myself of on numerous occasions in this particular piece.
Well, I usually call those sun blockage issues. So it was never about the actors. It was more about the logistic. And as you eloquently said, you'll never do another play or movie without a lawnmower.
Yes, that was the other big difference. I've never been interrupted by a lawn service before, but first time for everything.
Oh, like I said before, Diana and I have agreed the next time you're on stage, we will come to your show on a lawnmower.
And I am all for it, because that means the world will have crawled out of its shell.
So Diana, about you, since you've done many plays, and I've seen you in a few of them, and obviously the one in Ashland as well, but did you, is this the first film experience for yourself? And if not, what do you think of it?
Yeah, definitely, I kind of agree with everything Chris said. I missed the adrenaline rush of having the live audience there. Like I said before, it never really occurred to me, but when you're backstage at a show, walking out from the darkness of backstage into what usually is a lit up stage, to make an entrance, there's just something very exciting about that. But this was great, just to have an opportunity to do some acting again, having not done anything since January was the last time that I did it. So I was scared at first, like, oh geez, I haven't had to try to memorize any lines. Will I still know how to do it, or will it seem harder now? So it was good to, oh good, my brain still works, and then it was really fun to do it.
Yeah, I appreciate the both of you coming out to Ashland on an early Sunday morning, I think it was, and we tried to beat the trains and the lawnmowers. For the most part, we did. I mean, the helicopters and the SWAT teams we kept them at bay. But it was such a fun time to do something that was actually non-Zoom related, non-iPhone related. It was great working with both of you. And I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully, my question next is, you saw the film afterwards. We did the editing. Did the final product meet your expectations? I don't know what you were thinking, but when you saw it, did it meet what you thought it would be? Chris?
I'm not sure if I had, given that I'm a novice in this area, I'm not sure I had well-formed expectations as to exactly what I'd see. But I find it more of an educational experience where you sit there, you go through the various takes, and you can see where the cameras are. But at least for me, it's hard to picture that. Probably leads to my lack of expectations. So it was more educational watching the final product, and that's how they use that, or the way the end was shot with my departure and Diana staying at the end. So I hope I've now adequately ducked that question.
So you're saying you hated it, basically?
No, I'm saying I sat there, saying, "Wow, that's the way this works." But it was very educational just to learn how it can be put together.
Yeah. Diana, about yourself, what'd you think?
Yeah, no, it was really fun to see it again. I don't know what I expected it to look like or anything. So it was fun to do and to have that experience of doing another medium,
So something I always ask, and I didn't put down in the pre questions, were, what was your favorite line to utter in the scene? What was your favorite line to utter in the scene? And I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about that. And I won't throw anybody under the bus first, but let's throw Chris under first. Favorite line to utter?
Favorite line to utter? See, this is requiring me to remember the lines, and you'd think that wouldn't be that hard since I wrote them first and then performed
You
them.
wrote them before, and we just literally watched it a minute ago, Chris. It literally should be
Well,
fresh in your
you
memory.
may have, Joe, but I haven't in quite some time. So, Diana, if you want to jump in here
Well,
and go
I'll,
first.
I mean, I'll jump in because I thought for sure you would say, well, I don't know what Diana's favorite line was, but I know what her least favorite line was.
That one I know.
Ooh, okay.
That was the one about, you know, the second cousin once removed, blah, blah, blah. That whole thing, which actually it wasn't that bad once I wrapped my head around it. But when I first read it, I was like, come on, really?
She asked me to take it out, but that was the that was the price of doing it. You have to do that line.
That was one of my favorite parts. That was one of my favorite parts. And not only that, it was the expression that Chris had as he was listening to you. And I think you saw a couple of shots of when you were talking. You got Chris's looking like trying to get, you know, first cousin, second cousin removed. Everybody.
I still don't understand it.
I still don't understand it, but she explained it very well.
I do actually in reality understand it. And I can explain it again if you want. But just go back and listen to it.
You can make a YouTube tutorial on that.
Yeah, go back and listen to it. It's because
it was eloquently done that time. It was great. So
I think I'm gonna pick as my favorite line one of Diana's, a different one of Diana's, because one of the interesting things about writing is sometimes you write a line that corresponds to something either you say or the speech patterns you use, and I gave Diana one of those. And it was, you know, it was I don't even remember the beginning of the line, but it was something about that's something I didn't expect to hear when I woke up this morning, which is a line I've been known to use with some frequency in real life. And it's very interesting to hear other people say it when I know I've probably used some variation on that joke, you know, 73 times over the years. It just, I don't know. It's more from a writing perspective, but it's just very interesting to hear how someone else presents the same material.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you one of the questions I had is when you write something and you have someone else say it, how did it feel? So literally, it was one of my questions. So you're playing Jeopardy with me. You're answering before I even ask the question. All right. So what's next, Chris? What's the next one I'm going to ask?
I don't know. Did I get the $200 from the previous question?
Yeah.
I don't see my little score counter on the screen here.
Well, we add that in later. We usually let me win all the time. I have not lost ever in this game. So, So Diana, playing Alexa, which some people would call her Eve, but I know her being Alexa. What did you think of Alexa as a character when you started to read through it? And did you have some hesitations on whether she was good, bad, or indifferent? Because being the actor, you know the outcome, but not in the audience. You had to portray her in different ways. So a lot of stuff in there. What did you think of character Alexa?
Well, I tried to kind of make up my own little backstory about her. And when I was doing it, I guess I tried to think more about as if I really were another innocent person, just like Chris, and that I didn't know myself what was going on. And maybe if I really were Alexa, maybe she would have done the same thing, just to try to, I don't know. I don't even know, like, because I would never do something like that, you know? So, I mean, I just tried to see it from the perspective at first of like, yeah, what is going on? Let's figure this out. But then at the end, I guess my Alexa wasn't like inherently an evil person. I think she just kind of made a bad choice. And then she did quickly regret it because he was a nice guy. And then when he said that he was just hoping to find some family, then she felt that.
Yeah, I think that was a turning point for me, is when like you're thinking of them both in the situation. Somebody called them down here. Who was it? But I saw that there was a change in Alexa from the beginning to when she started to talk to the Chris character. What was your character's name again, Chris? Would you remember?
Steve. It
We
was
just
Steve.
watched. It was what?
Steve.
Steve. Oh, Steve. So poor Steve. I felt bad for Steve because I think he was like, I just felt that he was there anyway, but he met this girl and he was kind of confused about it. But I think Alexa started to like Steve along the way, and I felt that there was a big change in the short amount of time. It's 20 minutes to tell the whole story. There was a lot of emotions in there, a lot of different opportunities for an actor to be slightly different, at least more on Alexa's side. I don't know if Steve did. When do you think Steve started to like Alexa?
Right off the bat, right? Come on.
Clearly that's the answer. I mean, I think even before the first line, it was just when he saw her from afar, really.
Right, yeah.
Wow. That's the only answer I would have given.
But the if we're only going from the script and not what I actually saw playing Steve, then I think it's he's there knowing that this is kind of far-fetched, that it's going to get him what he wants, but the carrot's there, the chances there. This is something he's wanted to learn for a long time, and the fact that Alexa appears to be a kindred spirit going through the same thing, not the looking for the family thing, but going through the same uncertainty of this very strange reason to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I think that gets him on board, and then the more he talks to her, the more it goes from simply we're in the same situation to foolish guy that he is. Wow, this is a nice person. That when the invitation to have dinner together comes out, then it gives him the perfect opportunity, and he jumps at it.
Yeah. So Diana, from Alexa's perspective, when do you think she made the decision not to go through with it? What was the turning point? Was it, I won't give you options, I'll let you think.
I mean, I think it's not until obviously it's not until after he leaves, because she takes his phone,
Mm-hmm.
she calls her colleague, and I think it's when she's like on the phone with him that she starts regretting it, because she just had a really, genuine encounter with this person. And and then too, I think it was even after I hung up the phone, and then I looked down in my hand, and I was holding his phone, and I was thinking maybe like there was a screensaver of like, his dog or whatever, him and his dog, that again, like made him a real person to me, to make me think, what am I doing? This is a bad choice, So
he wasn't just a victim; he was a person that you liked, and
yeah,
he
became a real person that maybe she wasn't expecting that, because I don't think in my mind, she wasn't a practiced, con artist. That was why it didn't take too much for her to then rethink it. I think she was being misled and influenced by someone. This guy she was talking to on the phone, he was a bad person, that she momentarily fell under his, she fell under his influence in different ways.
And that's one of the things Diana and I talked about before we did the filming. Diana mentioned the backstory before, and that's one of the things we talked about, that this probably is her first time participating in a scheme like this, and it's something that maybe the guy lured her in and gave her a job that was legitimate, and then it's like, hey, do you want to? I got another opportunity here, and it seems like a good idea right up until you realize you're doing this to a real person, and at the last minute, until she makes that call at the end, she can rationalize it to herself by saying, I don't have to go through with this. But once that call is made, the Rubicon is nearly crossed, and she has to decide, am I really that type of person?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was a nice dynamic. I think Chris, you and I were talking about whether or not when you wrote it, and we were chatting about, is she good? Is she bad? Is she not? And I think that was a question that we were trying to figure out the best way to have it come across. And not knowing up until the end is the right way to go. It's like you don't know whether they're being duped together, they're being duped just by her or him. She's being nice, and she gave her her giving her phone to you was like a great gesture. You did the same thing, and so it kind of made sense. And then when it flipped, it made more sense. So can I ask a question? Do you guys have any plans of doing anything in the future? Like, what are your next projects? Or do you have any next projects? Because if you're not, I have an idea.
Oh.
I have one next project, but it's nearly completed already. But I'm playing Sherlock Holmes in a radio play.
Oh.
So
where is that? When's that going to be? And
it's being done under the auspices of Theater 3 in Acton. It's September the 25th, I think, is the airing date. But it's unlike what you just saw. It's entirely a radio play, so it's just audio.
And is that going to be over the airwaves? Is it on YouTube? Is it live streaming? Is it live in the theater? How's that working?
It's pre-recorded, so we can make it more like a radio and have sound effects and all that good stuff to bring the story more to life. So I believe it's being aired over Zoom, but I'm not sure.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Well, you want to hear my idea? I mean, I'm sorry, Diana, you working on
no, I have no acting projects in the works.
So here's my suggestion, and I threw it out there because one of the reasons I started to ask the questions about Diana and her character a little bit was if Chris would be interested to think about maybe scripting something of a prequel of this character, of how did Diana and this character who was on the other end of the phone get together to get up to the point where she's going to the ER to meet this Steve.
Huh.
So I was just curious if that would be something you'd be interested in trying to contemplate, and maybe work with Diana, try to figure out something, and maybe we can film that with, we'd have to actually get another actor, different actor, some really low life, kind of really bad character that influenced poor Alexa into this situation.
He's handsome though. That's part of why she was,
it's got to be,
on in,
Two strikes against me then.
Well, the one strike would be is that you already played Steve.
Well, that was the first strike. Yeah.
You were in on the handsome, but unless you go in with some fake mustache.
It was she was taken in by my twin brother, Steve.
That would be hysterical. Like if it's a twin brother, then she sees you and it's like, Steve. So that's something.
Can we put something on the screen, like a website for people to write in with good plot ideas and send them to me? So,
I've got some plot ideas, but I think you and Diana could probably come up with a few. One of the reasons I started probing the question was to figure out how did she get involved. So if you got a backstory, maybe you can think about that. But it's just an observation that I thought that it would be kind of interesting to kind of keep the story going, but in reverse.
That is interesting.
Well, it would flesh it out, so we wouldn't be in the situation where, I don't know, did we ever entirely agree, Diana, on the particulars?
Well, I think I just gave you some of the stuff that I had in my head, and what were you gonna like? You can't control, you can't control my motivation in my head, right? So, I mean, I definitely have some. I have a few ideas. So,
Okay. Well, I'm game.
yeah.
So take it away, and I'll be in touch. You know me, I constantly email, whether it's 3 or 4 times a week or not, just to keep motivation going, because it was fun to do. We could figure out another venue where we can film something else where Alexa and her influencer are conversing over the plot. And technically, the way it could work, I mean, they don't actually, we could figure out how they want to get together. We could figure out the logistics, but just think of the story, because I think there's something there behind the scenes there on how that happens. And if you wanted to put something in there about, Steve, getting the phone call from the Microsoft people on the computer, you could throw that something in there too and get, a little cameo for Steve in it as well. And then if you were interested, Chris, we could work together on the logistics of filming and the angles and all that other stuff, if that's something that you guys are interested in doing and learning as well. So I just want to do more things like this until we get back live and do stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a great idea if I can come up with a great idea for the script.
Well, you're a genius. We always said that. We have full faith.
We always said that? Oh, I must have missed that part. But,
yeah, that was the
sure
part when I froze last week. You missed that. I was like just about to say the genius part, and it literally just froze.
Hopefully, we could get around the Star Wars prequel problem of knowing that Darth Vader is going to go bad. So,
but that's the best part. Is like, how did he get to that point? How did he get there? How he's there, but there's some story about how did Alexa get to the point of doing that to poor Steve, and what made her switch. So there's something about that. So think about it. Well,
it may be the first time that Diana has ever been compared to Darth Vader.
Well, I don't know if I would it that way. I was thinking, okay, yeah, sure, yeah. But anyway, so thank you both very much for not only interviewing for the second time attempt tonight, but also being part of it, writing it, and taking Sunday out of your day and coming out and filming. I hope you enjoyed the project and the final product, and thank you both very much for participating.
It was great fun. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.